strengths and weaknesses, right?
Right.
There are guys like, for example, Jalen with his versatility. That's his strength. Some would tell you his size it may be a weakness, right? Teams didn't see it that way, and ultimately he was going to be a first-round pick. For James Pierce, he already has really good pass rush stuff. Does he have to get bigger? Yeah, he's got to get bigger. It's the NFL. But there are certain things these guys come in with, man, that you're really happy to build around certain qualities. And you see with him, like the size, you mentioned the 6'5", 250-ish, coming off the edge, he's got bend. And when you are first in the SEC in pressures, you're seeing the quarterback a lot. You're getting there.
And that was a big discussion we were having, throughout, again, ever since the season ended, we were talking about, why don't we get dogs? Why isn't there more SEC players here? Again, it's got to work out for you. If you got a guy, think about this, you get two guys, all SEC first team. You get the Buckus Award winner. We get this guy who, again, gets after the quarterback. We talked about his intensity. It's a slow burn with him. He's a soft-spoken guy.
Yes, he is.
Different energy than Jalen Walker, but it's his own intensity. And like I said, everyone who was on this, like last night, we talked about the process and how we get guys, and how you moved from last year's first-round pick. If it pans out, and that's the if, we don't know, right? We'll joke around. This cat is like putting up 10 sacks a year or more. And we'll say, remember when we interviewed him? And his first was a soft-spoken interview, and this guy's a beast out there.
Yeah,
look, but there is a risk in everything you do in this draft. I get it. And Terry, he risked it because they believe in this guy. But they did do their due diligence. They went back to his junior high days.
They did. He's fast also. I don't know if we mentioned that. He's also very fast. At his size, I think he ran 4.5, 4.4, Mike, or something like that, 4.4 maybe. But he has all the intangibles. And look, I'll be honest with you. Soft-spoken dudes, be careful. I'm going to say it right now. I've been around a lot of ball players, man, and those guys are not ready. Those are the guys you gotta be careful about. It's insane, right? It's like, yeah, let's go get him. He's like, dude, you're not ready. That's the guy, man, I'm telling you.
I always tell the story. We're at the Super Bowl. It was a Playboy party in South Beach at the Raleigh, and I feel this giant arm on my shoulder, and I look up, and it's like, hey, man, you want to be some drinks? It was Terrell Suggs. And I was like, oh, yes. And we started chatting. I'm like, please don't hurt me. And there was a chat. The guy was cool as could be. One of those guys we got a chance to talk to. And the guy was just an absolute killer out there. The story,
and I hope he is. We're having fun, but I hope he is.
But it's, again, you know more about Jalen Walker than you may know about James Pierce. Tennessee fans know what we're getting with this guy. But for me, it was Mike Green. We talked. And I'm curious to see where he goes in the second round. Someone I think is going to get a good player. But look, this is where, as I said to Carl, if you missed last hour, we get the die is cast. This is the guy we're rolling with. They banked big resources to get him. So now it's just a matter of, okay, what's it got to be? If you look at the scouting report, sometimes don't get caught inside with the hands. Some of the things he's going to work on. He talked about wanting to work and get better every day.
And we didn't ask him this.
Can't coach speed, though, as you brought up.
No, speed kills, man, and his ability to get off the edge. But the thing we didn't ask him about, and you may hear this, he's been asked about it. He already addressed it, but they were talking about his love for football, and that was one of the things that scouts were talking about with James Pierce specifically. And he was like, "Look, I'm tired of talking about this. Of course, I love it, man. This is what I want to do. This is where I want to be." And he was talking about, that question specifically, I think at the combine, I came up because of some of the things that
That's what I was asking. Things are being said about.
Correct, and but not addressing it because, again, time and place, man. I think for him it's such a beautiful moment for this kid, and I hope that again he turns out to be the player that we hope he is. But we're in no place right now to have him come in here and criticize him in any way, shape, or form. I don't even know if that applies, but I do know that was something that was asked, and he had to address it,
right.
And he has. But obviously didn't keep the Falcons away, because if that was a concern, Mike, I think Ron and certainly Terry would have been more concerned about it and maybe not have taken the pick and going back into the first round. It's Dukes and Bell, Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. I'm excited. We hope you are. We've been talking to you guys all day long. Coverage of the NFL Draft continues on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game all the way through the final pick, Saturday, 6 p.m. Don't forget, we have pick-by-pick coverage of the second and third rounds tonight starting at 6, followed by the late-night wrap-up show where you can we'll take your calls. There'll be reaction, guys. It's all brought to you by our friends at Honda, our